What you are about to hear is highly classified.
Hey gang, Brant Fowler here from Zone 4 one more time with another pre-Marvel Now review, or I guess it's kind of somewhere in between. I don't know, AvX Consequences is what I'm going to talk about. And I'm just going to do a quick summation of this 5-issue series, which, it spills out of Uncanny Avengers #1 and AvX, and, so it's kind of a bridging side story that tells you what happens to Cyclops in prison and how he escapes, because there were a lot of questions. If you didn't read AvX Consequences and then you read All New X-Men, you were totally confused as to how Cyclops is just suddenly roaming free. But AvX Consequences really explains that, and I'm going to spoil it because I don't know how many people out there are going to go back and read this miniseries. But the basic whole thing is it's Cyclops in prison. He befriends this young cellmate that suddenly became a mutant when all this went down, when the Phoenix said more mutants or whatever, whatever the exact verbiage was. And so now they're both kind of hunted by the other inmates. And Cyclops shows that he's not all about the optic blast. He shows he's got some training too, because he takes out all these prisoners, and he's still very self-righteous and kind of a punk. But you can tell that he's kind of got a plan. Wolverine's visiting him, and he's like, the more they spend time together, Wolverine starts to understand that, Cyclops has resolved to keep himself there, but there's something underlying. And, Cyclops still believes he's doing the right thing. He believes he's won. Like it was expressed in Uncanny Avengers #1. This one just kind of expounds on that a little bit. And he still feels justified in his actions. He regrets some things he did as the Dark Phoenix, which, like killing Professor X. Of course, Wolverine points out that, you know what, you probably don't feel as bad as you think you did, because, the fact of the matter is, you knew what path you were on, and you followed it anyway. So it is your fault, and you are to blame. And, that kind of shut Cyclops up, and he had to eat that. But all at the same time, he knew exactly what he was doing here. He was biding his time. He was waiting for the right moment. He was, keeping an eye on current affairs and everything. And I think the linchpin to him taking the next step was this young mutant, which he was actually trying to convince this young mutant to go to Wolverine's school. He was like, when you get out of here, because this kid was only in for burglary, he wasn't going to be in there that long, and he was like, when you get out, you need to go to the school. They'll take older students, you'll be fine. So he was still trying to do the right thing in his own way, but then, spoiler alert, the inmates kill him. And that kind of set Cyclops off. So he's like stealing sugar packets, and he's writing little pentagrams and stuff, trying to get a hold of Magic, and then they interact. So long story short, Magneto, Danger, and Magic break Cyclops out. He was not released, so all you out there that have wondered how he just got let go and he's just free to roam, that's not what happened. He escaped. He busted out of the prison, and on the sole premise to continue carrying out what they feel is the right thing to do, which is find all these new mutants and basically make another Genosha, make another Utopia. That's kind of what he feels like his whole purpose is to form this army, and he is Magneto, and Magneto's still on his side. So, Cyclops is not reformed in the least bit, and he's still very much the prick that he was during the entire AvX and before that, what he was turning into. And so now, for me, I actually really enjoyed the series, more than I thought I would. I thought it would be just this throwaway side story, but I really enjoyed it, and it gave you more insight into the character and into the whole reasoning, and showed you where things were now. But I do find it very interesting that Cyclops is doing this at the same time you have Havoc leading the Uncanny Avengers, or at least he's going to be. So you're going to have those two at odds, and at the same time, over in All New X-Men, you have the classic, the younger versions of themselves from the past in the present. And if you've read All New X-Men #2, you know that they went out to find these mutants for themselves. So you're going to have Cyclops, and Havoc. All these Summers characters running around, and so it's going to be interesting. I'm intrigued. So for the entire series, AvX Consequences 1 through 5, I will actually give it 3 3/4. No, you know what? Yeah, I'll say 3 3/4 simply because it was a story that was just fill in as to what happened. It wasn't there wasn't anything spectacular happening in it. It was just explanations of what was going on. So I mean, the art was solid, the story was good, the dialogue was really well done. But you know, aside from Cyclops beating up some inmates and we understanding the reason as to why he finally decided to break out, and his and Wolverine's interaction, which was really great. Aside from that, not much happened. So yeah, I'll stick with 3 3/4 stars, but I do think it is worth checking out especially if you're one of those readers that wants to get the entire story. It's not necessary. All you need to know is that Cyclops broke out. That's all you really need to know. So 3 3/4 stars, or 3 3/4 out of 5, whatever you want to say. So that's going to wrap up this review, and please check out Zone 4 every Friday on zone4podcast.com, comicrelated.com, on Dark Avenger Inc. YouTube on Sundays, and thanks for watching.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.